guys, welcome back to my channel and happy new year. Happy 2024. So weird to say that. I feel like 2023 flew by. Today I am going to be doing my December reading wrap up. I've already tried to film this video twice. First time the file was corrupt, and then the second time my battery died. So third time's a charm, we're gonna film this video. Yeah, I had a really good reading month in December. I read some really good books. So yeah, let's just get straight into it. First up, I read this on my Kindle. I read A Thousand Boy Kisses by Tilly Cole. Oh my gosh, this book made me sob. It's such a popular book and I knew it was sad, but like, I didn't think it was gonna make me cry as hard as it did. It is a YA book, so I really was like, I don't know, I wasn't expecting like a whole lot, but oh my god, it was so sad. About Poppy and Rune, and they have been best friends since they were kids, and then something happens and it is just the saddest thing you've ever read. I was like actually hyperventilating on my couch, like couldn't breathe. Such an amazing book. I would highly recommend it, but just beware that you are probably going to cry because it is so sad. Next, I read 3 holiday books and I've read them all. No, 2 of them I read on my Kindle, but I did do a reading vlog for them, kind of talking a little bit more about them. But first up, I read A Holiday Romance by Catherine Walsh. And this one, it was okay. I gave this one 3 stars. This is about Molly and Andrew, and they both live in Chicago, but they're both from Ireland, and every year they're on the same flight back to Ireland over Christmas. And they kind of started out not really liking each other, but then over time became friends. And then this is the 10-year anniversary of them going back to Ireland for Christmas, and their flight gets canceled, and then they have to like do this whole reroute thing, like taking a crazy trip to get back to Ireland for the holidays. And along the way, like feelings start to develop between them, and it's cute. Like I enjoyed the storyline, but I feel like I didn't sense the chemistry between them as much. Like you're only getting Molly's point of view, and she like seems really into him, but then because you don't get his point of view, I feel like I wasn't really feeling that he was into her, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know, I just didn't feel the chemistry between them. So the storyline was cute, but the romance wasn't my favorite. Then I read A Winter in New York by Josie Silver. I got this one for my book of the month for December, and I was really excited to read this because I've heard of her book One Day in December, and like everyone loves that book. I haven't read it yet, but I've heard it's really good, so I was excited to read this one. And it was cute, but it wasn't my absolute favorite. Again, the storyline was cute, but the romance, like, I don't know, I just didn't love it. I gave this one 3.5 stars. This is about Iris, and she's from London. She moves to New York City, and she stumbles across this gelato shop that is like in need of help with their recipe, and she's a chef, so she decides to help them out. And she realizes that her mom, who passed, has a connection to this gelato shop, so now she's trying to like figure out exactly what that connection is, while also falling in love with one of the workers at the gelato shop. And I don't know, it's like I said, it's a cute concept, but I wasn't obsessed with the way it was executed. Also, there's a big thing that she like lies about from the beginning. When that lie like came to light, they kind of just let her like get away with it. And I don't know, I feel like it was a big deal. So I don't know, that part was my favorite. I also didn't really feel the romance between the 2 of them, but there was like a cute found family part, so that was nice. But I don't know, it was okay. It was like a cute, easy holiday read, but it wasn't like my all-time favorite. Then I read A Cross Country Christmas by Courtney Walsh. I gave that one 4 stars. I thought it was so cute. So this is like brother's best friend, kind of enemies to lovers. This is about Lauren and Will, and Will is her brother's best friend. She hasn't liked him since they were kids because something happened, but you don't know what that something is. But basically they get put together to go on a road trip from California back to Illinois for the holidays, and she doesn't want to be with him. She thinks that he's like still this piece of shit that he was in high school, but it's like 10 years later. She hasn't seen him in a long time. So along the road trip, she realizes that he's changed, and it's actually really sweet. I really enjoyed this one. It's short, it's like 250 pages, and I literally sat and read it in like one sitting. I genuinely really enjoyed it. I know the holiday season is over now, but for next year, if you're looking for a cute, easy holiday book, I would highly recommend it. And it's on Kindle Unlimited too. Then I did my blind date with a book video. If you haven't seen that, definitely go check that out. And in that, I got Housemaid by Freida McFadden. I love Freida McFadden's writing. I've been wanting to read this one. I think this is probably her most popular book, but I've read a couple others by her, and Oh my gosh, this book had me on the edge of my seat. The way she writes is just impeccable. She leaves the end of every chapter with like a little cliffhanger or something being revealed, so you like need to keep reading. Chapters are short, the writing is super fast paced. Like, I got through this book so quickly because I just could not stop reading. Like, it was genuinely so good. There were so many twists and turns. I loved this book so much, and the way they end it, it sets up perfectly for the next book, which that one is already out, and then the third book in the series is coming out in June or July, I think. So I'm so excited. I definitely want to read the other two books because this was just so phenomenal. In the blind date vlog, you literally see my reactions, and I was like gasping on the edge of my seat. Like, this book was phenomenal. I gave this one 4.5 stars. Then I read Georgie All Along by Kate Clayborn. I got this book back in February as my book of the month, and I just hadn't read it yet, and it had been on my shelf for a while and never really been intrigued to pick it up, but finally just decided that I needed to get some books off of my physical TBR, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna read it. And it was like, okay, I gave it 3 stars. So this is about Georgie, and she comes back to her hometown after being let go from her job, and she's kind of trying to figure out what she's gonna do with her life. Sorry, they're doing construction next door, so if you hear stuff, just, I'm sorry. But she's staying at her parents' house while they're on vacation, and then one night some guy walks in, and it's Levi, and she's like, who are you? And he is kind of friends with her parents, and he's having work done on his house, so he's staying at her parents' house. They kind of don't really want to be around each other, but forced proximity, so they're forced to stay in this house together. It's interesting because it does focus on their romance, but it also focuses a lot on like her personal journey and like finding herself and figuring out what she wants to do with her life. And at first I was a little bored, it was a little slow, and then I like really loved their romance. I thought it was really cute. And then the third act breakup made me so angry because I felt like it was over nothing. Like, I felt like it was put in there just for the sake of having a third act breakup, and it just frustrated me so much that it bumped it down to 3 stars because I was like really enjoying it up until that point, and then the third act breakup kind of ruined it for me, to be completely honest. It was still a cute book, but I don't know, I didn't love it very much. Then I read Powerless by Lauren Roberts. Oh my god, I wish I was filming a reading vlog for this book because my reactions were like visceral. I was giggling, I was kicking my feet, I literally was gasping. I annotated so much in this book. Oh my god, it is so perfect. This is about Kai and Peyton, and in this world there are ordinaries and there are elites, and ordinaries don't have powers, elites do have powers. Peyton is an ordinary. She gets put into these sort of like trials that the elites have, and she meets Kai. But in this world, ordinaries get killed. She's been hiding that she is actually an ordinary, and Kai's job is literally to kill ordinaries. So it's this like, his job is literally to kill people like her, but then they're like falling in love, and the tension and the banter and the quotes, especially from Kai. They don't make men like this. They don't make men like this. Like, oh my god, the things he says, I can't. And the fact that the next book doesn't come out till July is so upsetting, if you can't tell by my reaction. I did give this book 5 stars. Even though the ending broke me, it had me wanting to scream and cry and throw my book across the room, but it was still so good. And if you have not read it yet, please read it. I literally begged one of my friends to read it, and she ended up loving it because it is just so good. Also, had I not read this book after doing my top 10 books of the year, this would have been in there because I adore this book so much, and it was definitely a top of 2023. And the last book I read in December is Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton. This is a memoir, but it's a lot of like life lessons, short stories, little things about her life. It really goes through like her 20s. She's living in London. She didn't have a lot of money, wasn't really sure what she was doing with her life, all that kind of stuff. And I feel like as someone in my 20s who's still kind of trying to figure everything out, this was so good. There were a lot of great quotes in it, a lot of great messages. There were parts that I didn't love or parts that I didn't necessarily relate to that I found not boring, but just, you know, I didn't really relate to them, but it was good overall. And if you're in your 20s, I highly recommend reading this book. I think I gave it like 3.5 stars, I want to say. Not a typical book that I read, so it was kind of hard for me to rate it, but I did enjoy it and I do recommend it. So that is all for my December reading wrap up and my first video of 2024. I'm so excited for all the videos I have planned coming up. Also, I hit 100 subscribers recently, which is so cool. So thank you guys so much for that. I'm so excited for more videos to come. So definitely make sure you subscribe and I will see you in my next video. Bye.